So, as I mentioned in my video I did the other day, giving my thoughts on the debate from this past Thursday, you know, I think it's, very obvious that it wasn't a good look for the Democratic Party at all. I mean, they thought they had a master plan, everything, in their pocket, and it pretty much blew up in the face. And everybody that, saw this debate, including those that covered it through the simulcast, basically all of them, even those that have been supportive of the Democratic Party and of our current president, have all said, "Yeah, this is not a good look," and basically Joe, he's got to go, and yeah, it's obvious it wasn't a good look, and throughout the past few days, a lot of people have been talking about this. I mean, it's the only thing politically everybody's been talking about. No matter where you go. People are talking about it. They're bringing it up in some fashion. I mean, even one contributor at Fox News, who's, as she jokingly put it, in the middle of nowhere, attending a family wedding, she said the only thing that's on their minds outside of the wedding itself is what happened on, Thursday. And now because of that, you have various reports all over the place of the Democratic Party basically saying, look, we need to basically get Joe out of this running and get somebody else in. And now you have talk of them possibly using the 25th Amendment to show that, yeah, Joe's not, cognitively, able to do this anymore. He can't run. He can't, go toe-to-toe with Trump, debate-wise and all that. It's... you got the Democratic Party, and the same goes for any party that would be in a similar situation, from a political standpoint, whether it's independent, Green Party, Republican, you name it. You have the Democratic Party right now in desperation mode to try to salvage any chance of getting the White House, kept in, their hands, kept in their grasp. And again, they're going and looking at things like the 25th Amendment. They're trying to get people to talk to Jill Biden. You got reports of the Obamas now, mostly Barack being like, "Hey, Joe, you gotta stop. You gotta step away." You got reports of Jill Biden, Joe's wife, not allowing Barack to talk, Joe out of this, and you got all kinds of craziness going on, all because of what happened on Thursday. And also you got reports from, various outlets, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and so on, that are saying basically that the Democratic Party cannot replace Joe Biden. It's too late in the game. That if they wanted to do that, they should have done it at the end of last year, if not the beginning of this year. But now it's too late in the game. And this is why suddenly you're hearing reports of the 25th Amendment being brought up and how they can institute that. And look, there's an old saying that goes, desperate times call for desperate measures. And as we saw in 2020, whether you agree with that controversy or not, or whether you feel there was controversy or not, it showed in the eyes of some people that the Democratic Party proved how desperate they were when it came to trying to get somebody from their end, in the White House, in the Oval Office, as the leader of this country. So it shows you, and again, this goes for any party, period, if the shoe was on the other foot. It goes for any party, how desperate political power is to be gained, no matter how it's done. No matter how it's done. And you got a lot of people like this Jesse guy that wrote this book called The Puppeteers on Fox saying, things like Jill Biden loves being president. You have Mark Levy on his show on Fox. And I think through his podcast, I think he has a podcast as well, comparing people like Jill Biden to Edith Wilson. And Edith Wilson, who was the second wife of President Wilson back in the early 1900s, who he married right before his first and second terms, she basically, when he fell ill, but was still alive, he was still talkative and all that, but not cognitively, physically, and I guess essentially mentally able to do perform his duties. Edith Wilson basically took on what she dubbed, and these were in her own words apparently, she dubbed the stewardess of the presidency, but as recent research and study has shown, she in actuality served as the president of the United States for the last 2 years, a couple of years of that second term of the actual President Wilson, her husband, who again was not mentally, well, I wouldn't say mentally, but was not physically, if not cognitively, able to perform his duties. And again, you have people like this Mark guy, and I'm sure others making that comparison to Jill Biden and Edith Wilson, asking if she's the new Edith Wilson, and if not, who is? Because other names that have come up have been the Vice President Kamala Harris and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Now, Harris, I don't think would be in that situation because she's the Vice President, and whether we like it or not, she is in tune with the generations of today. So she knows that we're in a world right now where the technology is so capable of finding out secrets here and there that if she was to be in that position, people would find out almost instantaneously. So the other name that I think is probably more likely than even Jill Biden, that could be like the Edith Wilson of this generation and forcing this to happen, is Nancy Pelosi. Because let's agree on this. Whether you like Trump or you didn't, she is somebody, and it wouldn't have mattered if it was Trump. It could have been somebody in her own party. It wouldn't have mattered. If you don't agree with her ideology, and her view on things, she's going to come after you, period. She's going to come after you. And that's what she did with Trump. And the same could be said for Joe Biden. If Joe Biden, didn't agree with her ideology, and everything, if the shoe was on the other foot, she'd probably go after him. So I would believe Pelosi being the Edith Wilson more so than I would Jill Biden and Kamala Harris. I would. In fact, I would even say that Nancy's the one that caused all this to happen in the first place. Now, whether you believe that or not, again, that's up to you. But a lot of people will point to her as being the one responsible. Again, that's up to interpretation. But the point is, somebody is playing that role. And again, those are the three names. Those are the three names that are coming up. Now, here's the question. Can the Democratic Party, if not any political party, Republican, Independent, Green, you name it, could they find a way in the last hours, last midnight hours, if you will, could they find a way to replace Joe with somebody else? Yes, I do believe it. Because like I said, desperate times call for desperate measures. It can be done. But they're going to have to get on their hands and knees and pray for it to happen. Because they got a lot of states that they would have to basically bring in, courtesy of this 25th Amendment, to try to get certain names like Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom, this Gretchen, the governor of Michigan, and other names on to try to be the one that takes Joe's place. They'd have to pray, get on their hands and knees and pray they can make it a reality. Because a miracle is what they will need. For them to have any chance. And again, you have, reports going out there that Jill does not want her husband to drop out. She's saying, no, it's not going to happen. He's going to steward on. And what's crazy is one of the people I follow here on YouTube, Depressed Ginger, he talks about, stadium relocations, but stadium builds, potential stadiums being made, renovated, teams relocating. He's more of a sports guy than political, but he does talk political. And even he pointed out what Jill Biden was wearing during the rally that they had the next day in Raleigh, North Carolina. She was wearing a shirt, a business suit, if you will, a business dress suit, that had nothing but the word vote on it. almost as if she's saying, hey, vote for me, vote for me, vote for Jill, vote for Jill. And Joe's just standing there like, get me out of here, or basically with the expression of, where am I? Where am I? Who am I? That's how a lot of people are looking at him now after Thursday. Like that. Like he stares off into space like he doesn't know where he's at. And again, that's not a good look. And a lot of people have said that Jill Biden has pretty much taken over the campaigning for her husband. Another thing that has been brought up outside of his age, outside of his cognitiveness, mentally, as well, is his physical cognitiveness. Easy for me to say. His physical cognitiveness, where basically he has to be helped. He has to be helped going downstairs, either by holding onto a bar, either he has to be helped going down little stairs with the help of his wife, or somebody else, or he has to be guided off a stage in one direction by the former president, Obama. And it's like, these are not good looks. These are not good looks. And you have a lot of the political Democrat Party saying, oh, those are photoshopped, or those are fake snaps and all that. Really? Well, really? Those are fake snaps. Those are photoshopped. Those are enhanced. Well, let me ask this question. How fake snapped, how enhanced, how photoshopped was Thursday? How much of that was phony? Let me see, 0. And even the Democratic Party and those that are Democratic people here in the country would agree that all of what we saw on Thursday was not superficial. The point is basically what we have here is a situation to basically the smoke and mirrors, the curtain has been pulled back, and now they have to face reality. They have to face reality. And that reality is pretty much, it's over. They have to face reality that it's over unless they can get a miracle done. Unless a miracle can be made. And that miracle is trying to hope that the 25th Amendment works in their favor, that people are finally able to convince Joe Biden, tell Joe he can't do this anymore, and get somebody else. That's the only way they would have a chance, period. It's the only way they'll have a chance, period. And look, I get that certain members in all parties are desperate. They are desperate to make history. All right? I get it. They are desperate to make history. And why do I say that? Why do I say that? Because in recent presidential election years, we have come very close to having a woman presidential, not just close. We've had one, but we've come close, probably closer than I think anybody can even think of, to having a woman president. And we have had a lot of strong candidates in recent presidential election years, I should say, as well as throughout the past 50, 60 years. We have had strong candidates. They have shown, whether you like them or don't, whether they have controversial baggage or not, they have shown that they have what's the moxie. I know that's a word nobody likes to hear, but the moxie, the strong will, if you will, the strong will, the adamantium-like, strength to carry this country into the future. Whether you like these women or not, Clinton, whether you like her or not, Haley, whether you like her or not, they have Harris, whether you like her or not, they have proven in their own way that they have the will. But the question is why by now have we not had one? Because in my honest opinion, we should have had one by now. So why not? Well, I'll tell you why. Because unlike the rest of the world, which is practically trying to move forward and actually give women a chance at being the leaders of the leader of their country, the president of their country, the queen of the country, whatever. The reason we have yet to move forward is because of the mindset we're still stuck in. And that mindset, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, is that women can't be president because of the one weakness. And that one weakness in the eyes of a lot of folks, and I say this with all due respect, no offense, is they get too emotional. They let the emotions override the judgment. They get too teary-eyed and all that. And in the eyes of this country, even today, which is stupid to even think, which is pathetic to even think, in the eyes of this country, that is shown as a sign of weakness. Well, you know what? I'd rather have a woman president that shows emotion for what this country is going through, for what the citizens of this country are going through. I'd rather have a woman president showing emotion, than a president that basically doesn't know, in the eyes of even those that support him. I'd rather have a woman president that shows strong emotion, for everything this country has gone through, for what the citizens of this country has gone through. I'd rather have a woman president leading this country with a lot of emotion than a president, by the own admission of those networks that support him, that doesn't know whether he's out to lunch, or he's out of it, period. I'd rather have a woman president with emotion than a president, again, by the admission of the Democratic channels that support him, that basically in front of the whole world, mentally and physically has shown that they're not capable of doing this anymore. And that they don't know what they're doing. And most importantly, that they're not the ones really running this country. And I'll tell you this too. If Trump was not going to be the nominee this year, if he was not going to be the nominee this year for the Republican Party, I guarantee you, if Nikki Haley was, I would have voted for her. Because to me, whether she's Republican, Independent, Democrat, don't matter. She has shown you can have emotion and you can be strong-willed. And she's shown that she has the capability of being a strong leader with all of that and more. The point is, this is why we have yet to have a woman president, and it is dumb, it is stupid beyond belief, and I think everybody listening and watching this agrees with that. Because that mindset needs to go. That mindset needs to go. Need I remind you, we have had presidents from Clinton, from Bush, to Obama, to Reagan, who have shown emotion, have shown tears coming from their eyes because of things that have happened. And has that shown us to be weak? No, it's shown us to be strong and united. And if that's the reason, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, if that's the reason folks don't want to put a woman in the Oval Office, then that is the most pathetic, dumbass reason I think anybody can ever come up with as an excuse. Which is why I firmly believe in 2028, history is going to be made and we will have a woman president. And I hope it's a woman president that shows emotion and shows that we are a united nation no matter what. Because after what happened this Thursday, can you blame CNN, people that back Biden? Can you blame MSNBC, people who back Biden? Can you blame Headline News, C-SPAN, ABC Network, NBC, CBS, all that kind of back Biden? Can you blame them for feeling like they've been, played as fools, been basically lied to, manipulated? Can you blame them for being humiliated? Can you blame CNN? CNN, who give credit where it's due, its moderators doing this were unbiased. They were professional. Can you blame them for feeling humiliated? For feeling embarrassed? I don't. Because despite all the cover up, they were trying to make for Biden, it's cover up that they were told. And what they were told were lies. And now in front of the world on their own network, simulcast and shared with everybody. They pretty much got humiliated. You can't blame them. But it gets better. Apparently, it's not because this guy didn't have any votes to make the debate, but apparently there's word going around that the Biden team didn't want him there. Robert F. Kennedy. So you know what he had to do? Thanks to Elon Musk, thanks to X.com, formerly Twitter, and even YouTube, you know what he had to do? He had to have his own inclusion into the debate. Yeah, he had a guy named Stossels, I think, be the moderator. And they would have the actual debate, the Biden-Trump debate on a screen, and they would watch it, and then after both Biden and Trump gave their answers, they'd pause it, and then Kennedy would give his answers. And all because either he didn't have enough votes to make it, or the fact that Biden's team didn't want him on there. Whatever the case may be, you have Kennedy, Kennedy taking part in this, through his own, with the help of Elon Musk, his own self-inclusion. All because of the fact that either he didn't have the votes, or it's because, as rumored, the Biden team didn't want him there, because I think they know, if that second reasoning is true, can't say it's not, but if that second reason has any truth to it, it's because maybe they knew that Kennedy could outshine Biden and maybe Trump in the debate. More so Biden. I think that's because again, if he was here's the thing. The word is the Biden team didn't want him there. We don't know if that's true or not. But again, one can assume that maybe it's because of the fact that they knew if he was there, whether Biden had a bad night or not, Kennedy would have outshined him. Maybe that's what they were afraid of. We don't know. Again, that's all depending whether that's true or it's not true. It could be the fact that he didn't have enough votes to be part of it. We don't know. But if that's the case, if he didn't have enough votes to be part of it, why include himself? Why have Elon Musk spend the money that he did to have Robert F. Kennedy include himself? Why? Why go that far? I don't know. But here's the thing. People would believe and be more acceptive and be more talkative and be more like, we don't know who's going to win the presidency in November. They pretty much have a toss-up kind of discussion of, either, Trump wins or his opponent wins, more so than they would have what's going on with Biden. Because honestly, people would believe, and I think those at CNN, MSNBC, all the places that supported Biden, they'd rather be more invested in a Kennedy versus Trump, presidential race to the White House than of Trump versus Biden, because at least Kennedy, who, by the way, despite, his throat issues, is younger than Trump. He's younger. They would be more invested in that kind of a showdown, knowing that it could be closer than anything, more neck and neck than anything than what Biden and Trump, showed on Thursday and pretty much proved could be the end result come November. But again, we don't know whether or not it's because he didn't have enough votes or the Biden team didn't want him there because they knew he'd outshine Joe in many ways. We don't know whether Joe had a good night or not. But the point is, this is going to be, this election year As everybody has said, it's probably the most important election year, period. And right now, the Democrats, they have a huge mess to clean up. They have a huge mess to clean up. And mostly, they have to work night and day, 24/7 now, even after the 4th of July break. They're going to have to work 24/7 to convince, before the convention at the end of the month in July, which starts next month, by the way. July is tomorrow. I should say it starts tomorrow. Next month starts tomorrow. But they're going to have to work, even after they come back from the 4th of July holiday, they're going to have to work night and day to convince Joe Biden to basically get Joe to step away. Because it's like that Jesse guy said, Jill loves being president. And when you think about it, maybe that's what's going on. Maybe Nancy Pelosi achieved her goal by convincing Jill to have Joe take the nomination in 2020, take the results of the controversial election, votes and everything in November of 2020. Maybe that's what Nancy wanted. Maybe they knew that Joe cognitively wouldn't make it as far as he did, or make it as far as he could mentally and physically. And as a result, Nancy could have a lady president finally, but in the pseudo form of the actual president, if that makes any sense. But the point is, this election year, it's going to be I mean, I'll put it this way. The Weather Bureau for where I live right now and across the country, but mostly where I live right now, they're predicting this 4th of July week to be scorching in the 110s, if not above. And that's hot, especially going into the evening when you set off fireworks. And the reason I'm saying that is because this election year is going to be a scorcher. Because if I'm the Democratic Party, like I said, I got a lot of work to do even after my 4th of July break. A lot of work to do. And if that Congress is kind of more Republican than Democrat, or they're even Steven, and same with the House, to a point, I don't know which is which. Correct me in the comments. But I guarantee you, if they do the 25th Amendment, and they go through all the channels they need to go through as quickly as they can before the convention, then, if they do that, then I've got a feeling, whether Jill likes it or not, Joe's not going to be the nominee. He's not. He's going to be done. He'll have his last 7 months in office, and then that's it. Or last 5 months actually in office, and then that's it. That's it. He'll be done. He'll be done. And I guarantee you this. If that all takes place, if the Congress comes to an agreement on all sides, and the House comes to an agreement on all sides, with the 25th Amendment and all that, and they basically overrule what Jill is saying is not going to happen, and that's Joe not stepping away, and they say, sorry, Jill, we're basically overthrowing that decision. We're taking that decision away from you, and we're taking that decision away from you, and we're putting it in our hands, and we say he can't go. I guarantee you, Jill's going to go on social media. She's going to go on a lot of networks, and she is going to rant. She is going to rave. She is going to be pissed off to degrees you have not seen, because of the fact that what she said was not going to happen was taken away from her by the Congress, by the House, because of the 25th Amendment and what they were able to do going through all the channels. She is going to rant. She is going to rave. She is going to be basically so mad. She is going to basically become the brunt. Because of her pissed offness, she's going to become the brunt of a lot of memes and jokes. And that's the truth. That's the truth. But anyway, this is going to be a scorching election. There's no doubt. very controversial already, very scorching. And all I can say is it doesn't matter what party you be part of. If your candidate, who's the current leader of this country, continues to show what they did during the first debate in front of the whole world, then yeah, I would be worried if I was you. And I do what I can to fix it. And hopefully that's what the Dems are doing right now, because, yeah, if they decide to go with Jill Biden saying, hey, keep my husband in there, he's cool, he's good. Yeah, they can pretty much kiss the presidency goodbye. And that's a fact. That's a fact. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment down below. Live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Love to hear from each and every one of you. Check out the other areas in the description box where you can find my content. Also, check out my Teespring store where you can get merchandise you can't find anywhere else. And until then, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.